All right, chapter 3.2, we're starting multi-step equations today. So we do have to have these skills like distributing and combining like terms. So we're just gonna do number 6 together. You should warm up with the other 5, but for time's sake on the video, we'll just do number 6 together. So when you have a number outside parentheses, you multiply it to everything inside that set of parentheses. So here, we're gonna distribute the 4 into the 2x minus 1. So we're going to multiply. 4 times 2x would give us 8x. We have to treat this like a negative 1. So we're doing 4 times negative 1, which would give us negative 4. If we did the same thing over here, we're distributing positive 5. So positive 5 times x is positive 5x. And positive 5 times positive 6 is positive 30. So we have 8x minus 4 plus 5x plus 30. Combining our like terms, I see some x's. I have 8x plus 5 more x's. They're both x's, so 8x plus 5x would give us 13x. And then we have some regular numbers. Negative 4 plus 30. Negative 4 plus 30, same as 30 minus 4 would be 26. And you can't combine 13x plus 26. They're unlike terms, so you would be done at that point. You need to have both of those skills to solve these multi-step equations. So if you look on your notes, I have the steps that we're going to use today. Now if you look at steps 4 and 5, undo addition and subtraction, undo multiplication and division, those are the steps of the 2-step equations that we've been doing. Also, we've done equations with fractions. We've cleared them out with multiplying by a common denominator to clear them. So the only new steps in the equations are step 1, distribute, and step 3, combine like terms, which we just practiced on the last one. So number A, if we're running down the steps, distribute, there are no parentheses on this problem, so we can skip step 1. Step 2, clear fractions decimals, there aren't any, so we're already to step 3, combine like terms. On the left side, I see 2x plus x. If you have 2 x's, I give you another x, you have 3 x's. So I'll have 3x plus 12 equals 78. That's a 2-step problem now. You guys were great at 2-step equations. I see plus 12. If I know I have to get rid of plus 12, we're going to cancel that out with a minus 12. Got a little delay here. So we'll have 3x equals 78 minus 12 is 66. Now 3x means 3 times x, so to cancel that out we would divide both sides by 3, and 66 divided by 3 is 22. X equals 22. Now, it's okay if your answers don't come out to whole numbers. That's fine. Not every problem comes out to a whole answer. That one did. Great. But don't freak out if it doesn't. Number B, 4x plus 16 plus 2x equals 46. I have some like terms. I have the 4x plus 2x. That would give us 6 x's altogether. 6x, we got that plus 16 equals 46. Oh, I'm trying to cancel out plus 16. I should probably subtract it. Minus 16 minus 16, because again, we're trying to cancel that out. 16 minus 16 is 0. We only do it on the other side to keep our equation balanced. So left side will just have 6x, right side 46 minus 16 is 30. 6x means 6 times x, so we will divide by 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. X equals 5. So I have 3 problems here that I'd like you to try out. So go ahead and pause here, and I'm going to go over these pretty quickly now so that you can check them when you're done. So try them out. job on that. A was 8, B was 3, and C was 4. Cool. All right, story problems, yay! A gardener is planting a rectangular garden area in a community garden. His garden will be next to an existing 12-foot fence. The gardener has a total of 44 feet of fencing to build the other 3 sides of his garden. How long will the garden be if the width is 12 feet? Thanks. So, here's our rectangle. This side already has a fence. So we don't need to re-fence that. That would be weird to have 2 fences on it. But we do need this side, which we don't know. We know that it's going to be a rectangle, so if the left side is 12 feet, that means this side will be 12 feet, and the bottom would be the same as the top. So if we add our 3 sides, x plus 12 plus x, it says we have a total of 44 feet of fencing. So there's our equation. Now, if we combine our like terms, I have x plus x, that would give me 2x plus 12 equals 44. Okay. Plus 12. Okay, let's subtract the 12. What do you say? What do you say? So 2x equals 32. And then we have to divide that by 2. Half of 32 is 60. Now let's make sure that's actually answering our question here. So this would be 16, this would be 16. And they were asking how long will the garden be if the width is 12. So the width is 12 and the length is 16 feet. Length is 16 feet. Great. We got another one of those rectangular problems here. But I want you to try this one. I'd recommend drawing it. We'll draw it together and then try it out. A carpenter is building a rectangular fence for a playground. One side of the playground is the wall of a building 70 feet wide. So let's say here's like the wall of the building, and that is 70 feet. He plans to use 340 feet of fencing material. What is the length of the playground if the width is 70 feet? So here could be the fence we're going to put in. We know this side of the fence has to be 70 feet because it's going to be a rectangle. We don't know what the other side is, so we could call it x. So we have 340 feet of fencing to use. Here are the 3 sides of our rectangle that we need to fence. Try it out. So it's x plus 70 plus x equals 340. Combining the like terms, we'd have 2x plus 70 equals 340. We get rid of plus 70 by subtracting 70, which would give us 2x equals 270, and we'll divide those by 2, which would give us 135 feet. So that's our length there, 135 feet. Come on, there it is. Cool. That wasn't too bad. Oh, now we're gonna have to distribute. Oh my gosh. Great, we're already pros. So step 1, distribute. On A here, we're multiplying in -2. -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times -4 would give us +8. And what's left is a 2-step equation. I see +8, so I can subtract 8. -2x equals 12 minus 8 is 4. -2x means -2 times x, so we will divide both sides by -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. We're going to do the same thing on B. We're going to distribute, multiply it in. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 8 is 24. So 3x plus 24 is 21. Plus 24, let's get rid of that by subtracting 24. 3x equals 21 minus 24 is -3. 3x means 3 times x. We use the inverse operation, division. And negative 3 divided by positive 3 will give us negative 1 when that decides to show up. All right, and then C is the first time where we're going to have a few of these steps. We're going to use 4 of the 5 steps here. So 15, done. Over here we got to distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is going to switch it to plus 3. So be careful on that. And then we also have this plus 9. So this is the first time where we've had to distribute and combine the like terms. So on the right side, we can combine the 3 plus 9, and that would just give us 12. So we'd have 15 equals negative 3x plus 12. Now, if you wanted to, you could subtract the 3 from both sides, and then subtract the 9 from both sides. That's fine. This way, we're just going to get rid of our plus 12 by subtracting. So as long as you are keeping the equation balanced, you're fine with your steps there. So we're going to subtract 12. 15 minus 12 is 3, so we have 3 equals negative 3x. It's negative 3 times x, so we will divide by negative 3. And 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1 again. How fun is that? That was so much fun. Now let's bring back the fractions, baby. All right. Clearing the fractions sometimes is listed as step 1. I put it as step 2 because I think you should distribute and then clear the fractions if you need to. Now, these don't have any distribution, so we can go straight to clearing fractions. Remember, we look for a common denominator. For A, our only denominators are 2 and 3. The smallest number that goes into are 6, is 6. So you can use any number that 2 and 3 go into, and it'll clear the fractions. You could use 6,000. You could use 6,009, sure. But 6 is the smallest one that they go into. So if I started in the denominator, so remember I said one way you could do it is 6 times 2 and then divide by 3. Or you could start in the denominator and you say 3 goes into 6 how many times? And it goes in there twice. And then you can do the 2 times the 2 up top. 2 times 2 is 4, so we'll have 4x plus 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 1 is 3. 7 isn't even a fraction, but you still got to multiply it by 6, so that would give you 42. Great, we distributed. There are no fractions anymore. Combine like terms. These are like terms. 4x plus 3x is 7x. No addition or subtraction to undo, so then we can just divide by the 7. We'll get x equals 6. Great. Let's try it 2 more times. Look at the denominators on B. 4, 2, and 8. These common multiple would be 8. That's the smallest number these all go into. If we start in the bottom, 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. So we'll have 2x plus 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 1 is 4. 8 goes into 8 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5. So here's our equation. 2x plus 4x equals 5. We can combine our x's. 2x plus 4x is 6x. 6x equals 5. Now, if it's 6x, that means 6 times x. So we're going to have to divide it by 6 when this arrives. There it is. Divided by 6, divided by 6. We're just going to leave it 5 over 6. You can't simplify that fraction anymore. You could turn it into a decimal, but if you're given problems with fractions, give your answer as a fraction. And the last one, we have 2 denominators, 3 and 8. The smallest number those go into is 24. 3 goes into 24 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. 16x minus 8 goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And we just gotta do 24 times 26. I don't know what that is. 24 times 26, 624. Now our like terms are the x's. We have 16x minus 15x. That's 1x. 1x equals 624. Hey, that's done. We need it to be 1x at the end, so we're all good. All right. Now, there is a school of thought from very wise people that says you should also clear decimals. Some people don't like decimals. To me, decimals don't bother me as much as fractions, so I like getting rid of fractions. There is a way that you can clear decimals as well. It's kind of an unnecessary step, but I'll show you here. Otherwise, just solve it with the decimals like you normally would, and you're fine. But, what do you call the first decimal spot? You call that the tenths, right? So if you need to clear one decimal spot, you can multiply the entire equation by 10. If it's 2 decimal spots, that's called the hundredths, so you can multiply by 100. 3 spots would be 1,000, multiply by 1,000. So if you look on A, the first one just goes to the tenths, but the other ones go to the hundredths. So textbooks would say, hey, multiply everything by 100, which moves the decimal 2 places to the right. So if we did that with 0.5, if you multiply that by 100, you get 50. If you move the decimal 2 places on 8.75, it becomes 875. And if you did that with 13.25, it becomes 1,325. So maybe the equation in the green looks a little friendlier for you. That's great. So we can subtract 875. 50x equals, let's see, 5 minus 5 is 0. 132 minus 87, 492. I believe that's 450. Let me double check that because I'm a little nervous now. 1325 minus 875. Alright, it is 450. Sometimes I rush. I don't want to have the incorrect number here. So we'll divide it by the 50, which would give us 9. If you just kept it with the decimals and subtracted 8.75 and divided by 0.5, you would still get 9. So to me, it's kind of adding an unnecessary step. That's why I don't usually do it. Now here, this one goes to the third column. So if we were to clear 3 decimal places, we'd have to multiply by 1,000 each term. So here, moving it 3 places would make it 25x. Here, multiplying by 1,000 would make it 22,950. And here, if you multiply by 1,000, it would make it 23,650. To me, I like the decimals. That fly's gonna get me. I like the decimals because they're at least a little smaller. These are gigantic numbers. But we're all good. Minus 22,950 minus 22,950. Now then, I think that's 700. 700. 23,650 minus 22,950. 700. Can you tell it's the end of the week? My brain's a little exhausted. 25x equals 700. We're going to divide that by 25. And I believe that is 28. 700 divided by 25, 20. All right. Again, clearing the decimals purely optional. Let's try this one without clearing the decimals. So if we're just combining our like terms, I see 1.2x plus 0.3x. 1.2 plus 0.3 would be 1.5x. We've got the minus 3.6 equals 2.4. If you want, at this point, you can multiply everything by 10, and that would give you 15x minus 36 equals 24. We're not going to. Let's just try adding the 3.6 here. 1.5x equals 2.4 plus 3.6 is just 6. And then if we divide that by 1.5, 6 divided by 1.5 is 4. You would have gotten the same thing if you had cleared the decimals. So up to you. That step is totally optional. I do highly recommend it with the fractions though. So that is the end of these notes. Oh yeah.